Hey now, what is up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I am here to do my top favorite best superhero movies of 2017. And this is something that is my list alone, so yours might be vastly, greatly different from mine, which is fine. But coming in at number 9 is Batman and Harley Quinn. This is an animated movie from DC Animation, and I think they've done a pretty damn good job as far as good movies to bad ratio. This movie I was looking forward to because they're taking advantage of the Harley Quinn popularity. This is in Batman the Animated Series, that style. The reason why this is dead last on my list is because I didn't love the voice that they chose for Harley Quinn. It's not the original. It's not even Tara Strong, who sounds just like the original. I was surprised where the humor went as far as Harley Quinn and Nightwing hooking up, or Harley Quinn farting in the Batmobile, or certain scenes that I'm like, wow, they're really going for a certain level of like dumbed down humor. Some of it made me laugh, sure. And the very end of Swamp Thing and that cliffhanger of a like nothingness ending was like, wow, kind of a bummer, sort of a letdown. Number 8, and people might be surprised that it's not higher. I'm sure it's higher on their list. Lego Batman. Lego Batman is something that I saw in the theater. I didn't really know what to expect from it because I did really enjoy the Lego movie, and I like Batman's small part in it. But doing a whole movie about him, I was curious. Will Arnett is great as the voice. He captures that menacing tone, but also humor, sarcasticness, and the whole idea of Batman being a loner and having to learn to work with other people, and all of that was great. The first half of this movie I think is consistently funny. Like every joke made me laugh, and how it was poking fun at some of the old Batman movies. My only issues that has it as low as it is on my list is I hate the fact that we're constantly trying to make Barbara Gordon the love interest of Batman. This movie does it. The Killing Joke does it. A bunch of like the animated version, and I don't like that. I don't. I thought the last half of the movie became a traditional Joker wants to blow the world up plot, and it lost a little bit of that originality and that different flavor that they were going for. Number 7, Power Rangers. Which is Power Rangers a superhero movie? Well, I'm considering it as. It's told like a superhero origin story. These kids, I can't believe. I grew up on the Power Rangers. I mean, I'm not the biggest massive fan of it. I did grow out of it after a while, but the fact that they took this story, took these characters, and did something different with them, updated them, and the Breakfast Club idea that they did with them all coming together, I enjoyed that. But there's so many aspects of their personality that this movie does pay so much attention to. Their backstories do pay so much attention to trying to get to know them and care about them, and I was surprised by that. It didn't make a whole lot of money, but I would totally go see a sequel to this version of the Power Rangers. Number 6, Justice League. Justice League, almost disappointing, just in the sense that it's number 6. It should be number 1 right now. Like, this is the first ever Justice League movie, and you're telling me it's number 6 on my list? Okay, because I enjoyed the movie. I had fun with it. There are moments in this movie that I'm going to remember and think about, like, wow, that moment kicked ass. Wow, that moment. Just the reaction in the theater was great at this moment. Superman, obviously all of that worked, but there's so much else of it that is a letdown, the villain wise. But not just that, seeing what this could have done if they had taken the time, if DC took the time to make an Aqua movie first, a Flash movie first, Cyborg. You could have taken the time to really establish this universe better. Superman probably shouldn't have been dead going into this movie, but all of that is the case. I'm more upset about when I found out just yesterday how much stuff was cut out of the script and Zack Snyder's version of the movie. Whether that would have been better or not, because people don't love BVS and that's Snyder, so sure, maybe it would have sucked as well. But when I read all of the stuff, all of the backstory stuff of certain characters, of the villain, Darkseid stuff, Superman stuff, a lot of it being cut out, Batman stuff, and him almost wanting to kill himself. All of this, I'm like, what? And we cut all of this out? Just because you wanted the movie to be 2 hours? Just because you didn't want to push the release date? Wow. Wow. So I shouldn't spend this time talking about it being a disappointment because it is on the list and it is number 6. There are good moments in there, but man, it should have been a whole lot better. I admit that. Number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The fact that I'm saying any Guardians of the Galaxy movie is better than a Justice League movie, that should tell you something. But the fact that, and yes, this isn't as good as the original, the first one. The first one's great. But still, this movie is funny. It is fun. You still love these characters. You still enjoy all their interaction. Can you believe we live in a world where there is a Marvel movie where Ego the Living Planet is a villain? And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that this is a more self-contained. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies are, in a sense, more self-contained like movies. At number 4, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, thank God. Thank God this movie worked. Thank God, because I was one of the skeptics when it came to Gal Gadot being cast as Wonder Woman. I was like, really? The girl from Fast and Furious? That seems odd, but she sold me in BVS. But then it's like, well, can she carry a movie on her own? And she does. Origin story. The fact that it's basics. The plot, the structure of the film is basic. The no man's land scene of her walking through the battlefield and just badass. Number 3, Thor Ragnarok. Wow. This film is so crazy, so much fun. It's so insane, the colors and the way it looks, the special effects and the characters that Thor is dealing with. This is the cosmic version of Thor where you see Surtur, you see Hela, bringing Loki back as a pseudo partner in crime, but also you can't trust him either. Sure, I have my little minor issues here. Not so much that it's too much humor. I hear some people say that. I actually like the amount of humor here. It goes for something different. That is proof in the pudding that Marvel will try different things, that they're not trying to make the same movies over and over again. Number 2, Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man was a property that I don't know. I didn't know if I was losing interest after the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I didn't really care about where they were going with their Sinister Six and all that stuff. I didn't care. And then he gets rebooted. He gets brought in by Marvel and put into Civil War, and my mind was blown. It was something that I had dreamed of, honestly, like for years. I wanted to see it, and I gave up. I never thought it would happen, but then it happened, and he stole the show in that movie. And then when you find out he's getting his own movie, you're like, wow, in the Marvel universe? Okay, all right. And Tom Holland was great. It's such great casting. Actually, hey, here's an idea. Let's cast a real teenager as Peter Parker. Oh, wow. And that worked out too. You buy him in high school, and Marissa Tomei as Aunt May, and his friend Ned, like that worked out as well. But then having him have a mentor relationship with Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. is so funny and so good, and having Happy Jon Favreau there as well. Michael Keaton as the Vulture. People keep talking about Marvel and their villain problems. Well, I don't see a villain problem here. Michael Keaton's Vulture is so relatable, so understandable. You understand why he's in this position. The big reveal of him being Liz's dad was awesome, and such a moment in the theater of all of us looking at each other like, what? That scene where he drives them to the dance and he has the gun and he says to Peter, like, scary. But my number 1 favorite superhero movie of 2017, I guess it should be obvious because I haven't talked about it yet, Logan. Logan was so different, and that's what we're talking about with superhero movies, especially this year, is the ones that stand out are the ones that are different, or the ones that take risks, the ones that take chances. And Logan took so many leaps and bounds of change. And sure, it helps that we've spent so much time with the Wolverine character with Hugh Jackman and the X-Men movies all the way from 2000, 17 plus years of this. And the build-up of Old Man Logan, Professor Xavier having Alzheimer's, and the history that goes on to that, him not being able to control his powers, Hugh Jackman's performance of just this run-down, broken-down mutant who's just trying to survive, trying to get by. It's sad in a lot of ways, but also it's earned because you buy it with this character. And the rated R-ness. It's not something that I'm saying you need. I'm not saying a superhero movie needs to be rated R to be great. There was an X-Men Origins video game where Wolverine was ripping people apart and it was bloody and gruesome and violent, and I always thought, why can we never get a movie of this? Why can't we see this in a movie of Hugh Jackman ripping dudes apart? This is what this movie was. We finally got it. And yeah, it was sad at the very end of the movie, knowing that this is probably the end of him as this character, but it is true finality, something you don't get a whole lot in these movies. It is a nice send-off for the character, but X-23 is a character that I loved. Seeing her relationship, her father-daughter relationship with Wolverine, her going forward is something I'm very interested in. This movie works. This movie is so good for everything that it accomplishes and pulls off. Doesn't need $100 million. Doesn't need something giant and huge in the sky to make me invested. Doesn't need an end of the world plot to make me care and cry at the end or make me feel something. It can be small, intimate, personal stories that are going to get that reaction from me. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of my top favorite superhero movies of 2017. Do you agree with my list? Are there certain movies you would change in their placements and order? What's your list? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!